When the game is too juicy, you do not leave until they all leave. You don't even have an option to leave until they all go to bed and the game breaks. So I get a call from a friend a couple of days ago. He goes, Henry, I'm running into a little bit of an issue. I'm like, all right, run it by me. This cat lives in Denver. He plays in the backroom games in that town. There's hundreds of them. They run 7 days a week. They're good. They're good games. Usually cap out around $500 buy-ins. They play 1-3-2-5-ish, and they're good. It's a good town for poker, it is. Blackhawk is trash, but downtown Denver, there's good games. So anyway, he hits me up. He's like, Henry, over the last 2 months, I was up $3,000 in this game. I was like, all right, yeah, good stuff. He's been tracking it, whatever. And he's like, but since then, I've been going down a little bit of a downswing. I was like, all right, well, tell me a little bit about it. Tell me how the game is. He's like, okay. So it's an action game. Most of the players buy in between $300, $500, a lot of chips going around, a lot of 3-betting, tons of action. I was like, all right, so what's the problem? Like, how are you handling it? He's like, I buy in for $100. Alarms are going off in my head right there. I'm like, all right. He says he doesn't 3-bet hardly at all. Very passive, very predictable player. He's not a very good player. I go on to tell him, buy in for the max, have some confidence, start 3-betting. Do all the things you need to do to crush these games. But I'm sitting there to myself, and this actually inspired this video, and I was like, this cat, trash player, buying into a juicy game, plays it twice a week for $100, and he was up $3K in 2 months? So what, over 16 sessions, this guy was up $3,000 in this game? He's a garbage player. I'm like, bro, you're not going through a downswing, man. What happened was you were going through a massive upswing. You were running hot. Everything was going right. And now this is just standard variance, man. You can't continue to play like shit and expect things to go well. You're not running bad. You're running normal. Things are going normal. You're not a good player. So when things are going good, anybody can think they're invincible. I think back of a time, it was Summer Olympics, not even that long ago, whenever Phelps was in his final Olympics swimming. They were doing like the 200-meter butterfly final, something like that. So they'd introduce the swimmers and they'd come out. And there's this Brazilian cat. And he comes out strutting. You know what I'm saying? The limp walk. He's got his jams playing on the walk-up song. I was loving it. This guy had all the confidence in the world. And don't get me wrong. It's best to believe that you are the greatest. Believe you're great. I'm never not saying that. If you believe you are the man all the time, things will go well. But this cat comes out strutting. He's going up against Phelps. But he's in the final. He's feeling good. He's probably crushed all the qualifiers. He's a hero in his hometown. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, wherever he's from. But the gun goes off, and this cat ended up getting 8th place in the race. Phelps won. It was heroic for U.S., whatever. But the point being is this guy was riding a little bit too high. And this is what happens when you run too hot in these games. When it comes to poker and you're running hot, things are going well. Even if, you might think you're playing better than you actually are. You might be playing like shit, but everything's working. You might be getting it in spots where you're a 35% favorite and holding up in those spots for tons and tons of chips. It happens. But you got to recognize it. You got to be aware. So you're running hot. Things are going well. You think you're invincible. You're going to try to start running over these tables. You're going to go in, play cocky. Players are going to pick up on it. They're going to play it back at you. Things can shift quickly. And then when things start shifting and you start losing in those spots and you get all your money in as a 35% favorite, it's like, oh, I was winning these spots over and over again for a couple of months. What happened? Well, it's standard, bro. You gotta play better. You gotta improve. So when things get a little bit tricky, then variance starts coming back to earth. You realize maybe you're not as good of a player as you thought you were. That's where things kick in. You gotta keep reading. You gotta keep exercising. When you're reading, read self-help. Read anything you want. It's good for the brain. Study a little bit of poker if need be. That always helps. Keep the diet on point. Don't let it slip. Do not let your diet slip. All right, here's another scenario. You're up $5,000 on the month. It's late in the month. You play mainly 1-3-2-5. $5,000 standard. You put in a lot of hours. You might have played 100 hours already in the month, something like that. It's late in the month. It's the 26th, 27th. Then you go sit in a game, you make $500. But then you go home and you flip on Netflix and you're like, oh, I made $500 in this game. I deserve a little pat on the back. Things are going well. There's this show on Netflix I'm trying to binge a little bit. That game was pretty good, but it was playing a little bit too big, a little too fast for me. I needed to go home and, tie one off. I think I deserve it. Bro, no. Again? I don't even want to hear about this shit, man. All right, first of all, you made $500 in a game you easily should have made $1,500. Well, you played it for 45 minutes, made $500? Bro, you cannot leave that game. That game was playing crazy juicy. I don't care if you were up $5,000 for the month. Push that shit. 7,500, 8K. That's a good month at these stakes. Not 5K. It's been a good month. I just want to rest up. Bro, nah. When the game is too juicy, you do not leave until they all leave. You don't even have an option to leave until they all go to bed and the game breaks. If you have to play that game for 20 hours, then you have to play that game for 20 hours. I wanted to go home. There's a box of donuts. I wanted to order up a Domino's pizza. This is what happens. Things are good. You get comfortable. You think, things are going really well. I need to do something for myself. I'm just going to kick my feet up and lie on the couch, You can't do that. When things are going good, you got to continue to press it. When you're running good, maximize it. Continue, go in, play well. Don't run everybody over, but don't have this ego, because you see that too. People are playing good, and they're usually losing players, but they're having a big night, and then they start calling you out on things and stuff. It's like, bro, come on, dog. We know you get rolled in this game all the time. Like, get out of here with this shit. So you got to improve when things are good. You need to get better in all aspects of your life. Say you're having a big month. Clean the house. You don't get to eat Domino's pizza and donuts. We don't eat that shit. If you follow me, you know we do not eat that shit. Replace that. Salads, protein, eat good. Keep the sleep schedule dialed in. That's the one thing. So if the game is too juicy and you have to play for 20 hours, that's the one time that I forgive you for jacking up your sleep schedule. Because you're going to maximize all your profits in that one. The next day, do whatever. Get resettled in. Try to do what you can the next day. Take that night off, back at it the next day. That's the only time when the game is too juicy. And I'm talking like crazy juicy, not even pretty good. Exercise vigorously when things are going good. Stay in the gym 5 days a week. Pick up heavy weights. Henry, I've had a good month. I'm thinking about picking up these 35-pound dumbbells and just doing a couple of chest presses with those. Bro, no. 60-pound dumbbell minimum weight, and on your incline, 4 sets of 10. Take some rest in between. That's how you get the hypertrophy going. So another thing, when things are going good, shut your fucking mouth. Don't be telling people about it. Don't be talking around. Cut your ego. Cut it. Because we all know what it's like when the opposite hits. When the real run bad hits, bro. You guys don't even know what run bad is. You've been running so hot, think things are good, man. When things are really good and you can feel it, everything's getting there, everything's working, play as much as you can, but continue to play your best all the time. Play your best. Continue to wake up on time, get the sunlight in. You got to keep the routine in check. You don't get to have lazy days because things are going good. You got to put money on the table. You still got to eat. I'm having a really good month. I'm up 4,000 this month. I've only played about 25 hours. Bro, 100 hours in this month. Turn that 4K into 10K. That's what we're about here. Nobody's going to pat you on the back. You're a man. Hold yourself accountable. Keep your emotions in check. Do not be lazy. You look around at all these fat-ass poker players, these lazy fucks. Fuck them, man. Stay in shape. Grind it out. Maximize your profits.